Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers. We got rid of the numbers finally, so we're just going by whatever the subtitle says. And this is the sixth Halloween movie that we got, and it's a follow-up to Revenge of Michael Myers. It's, I guess, in ways a direct sequel-ish, kind of. Takes place, I don't know how many years later, but basically we're doing it again, but this time we got like a cult of stuff, and we brought Donald Pleasance back as Dr. Loomis, and we have Tommy, played by Paul Rudd. And I thought this movie was atrocious. And I thought Halloween 5 was the worst one out of all of the Halloween movies. Now we've found a new low. Curse of Michael Myers is my least favorite now. There wasn't anything I liked about this movie. Literally nothing. From the music to the way it was shot to just the acting to the characters. Just everything. Nothing worked about this movie for me. The opening scene, it came across as kind of goofy to me because there was like no tone. The editing in this movie was obnoxious. Like every time a scene would transition, we would have like a little jump scare, screaming sound effect or whatnot. And if you're epileptic, don't watch this movie because it's not going to be a fun experience. I'll just put it that way. Even the music in this movie was just awful. Like it was at times trying to mimic what the first Halloween movie was, the John Carpenter film, but it just put its own spin on it, and on paper that's fine, but the way it's executed and the way I was able to hear it and the scenes that it was in and the tone that was being implied, it just did not work at all. Like, it might be moderately acceptable if it wasn't for a film and just like a fan-made version of it, but to like put their own spin on it, that would be more acceptable. Instead, it's in a movie where it's trying to be serious and scary, and I never once believed that it was that way. This movie does make a lot of changes to the franchise, but unfortunately, they just don't add anything at all. If anything, it made the movie worse, because while I was looking at every single change that this movie was making, or addition to this franchise, or just anything, I could never find a good answer as to what was motivating the people behind the movie to make that decision. All I could think of is, this doesn't work. Why are we doing this? None of the characters are likable. In fact, the characters are just downright awful people for the most part, especially that one dad character. He was probably one of the worst characters I've ever seen in a slasher movie, I'm not going to lie, and I was so happy when they killed him off. The movie is also very poorly shot at times, too many close shots, quick cuts, and you can never get a good sense of the environment that you're in. And it just ignores everything that made this franchise good from the get-go. Not to say this franchise as a whole is great or even that good. Like, if you just take a look at the first movie, it's like, okay, knows what it is and just goes with it. Not saying it's a self-aware movie, but it understood what it needed to accomplish. It's a very simple movie that just works very effectively. And the second movie tried to duplicate that, and you know, it's not entirely successful at doing that, but still, things about the second movie work for me. Whereas this movie, just, I couldn't find any good excuse as to why things were being done in the way that they were. And I believe this was the last movie where we got Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, and at the end credits it says, "Rest in peace, Donald Pleasance," which, you know, it's still kind of nice to see him, even if he's not really bringing much to the movie. Like, every scene that he's in, it just feels really short. Like, they didn't really have much to do, and they just threw his character into the movie just to show off, hey, Dr. Loomis is back. You all like Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, right? And that's what it feels like. And every scene that he's in just feels completely detached from the overall movie. And there are so many parts of this movie that just feel as though they were not even finished. Like, I don't feel like I got a complete story from this movie. It just kind of starts and ends with no real beginning or payoff or even a climax, really. And I couldn't really find much logic in what the movie was doing in terms of like the story beats or the characters. It was always just random things happening for no reason, and I just couldn't make any sense of it. And I really hate that this movie was trying to explain why Michael Myers is evil. Like, oh, he's possessed, and maybe he's just like something is going on with him instead of him just being evil. Like, why can't we just do that? It worked pretty well in the first movie and even the second movie. Why we can't just continue with that, I will never know. And when the movie was over, a certain thought came into my head that was simultaneously funny and sad. And that being Halloween, the original, and to some extent the second movie. It's a very simple movie, understands what it wants to do. Not a huge story, not a huge characters, just nice, small, and contained. Doesn't go out of its way to try to do so many different things. And it's just a nice, simple movie that's very effective. And same thing with the second movie to a certain extent. And yet, somehow, with these later Halloween movies that I can only imagine had more time put into them, like a bigger budget, had the blueprint of these effective movies, they can't even deliver on that. Why? Are they just lazy, or are they just so creatively bankrupt that it's just impossible for them to do that? I just don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what anyone was thinking when they made this movie. It was just terrible, and I couldn't stand it, and it was pretty boring for a good chunk of it. Not as boring as the fifth movie. There were parts of it that were kind of funny to me, but the overall package of this movie, I can live the rest of my life without seeing it again. So definitely skip this movie if you ever come across it. I wouldn't recommend this movie to anyone. I would recommend this movie to no one. It's on HBO Max. That's how I watched it. Not saying I would recommend you watch the movie, but if you want to watch it, there's a way to do so. And that's about all I have to say. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, a 1 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thought of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Halloween Resurrection, and I'll be talking about it on Halloween. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching, and have a great day.